Hello, everyone. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, thank you for joining us tonight. Now is the last day for our program in the Sustainability Southeast Asia Sustainability Festival. And I hope you can enjoy this season. So guys, let me introduce myself. I'm Givo Aulia. I'm the coordinator of Partners for the Gold Season, Southeast Asia Sustainability Festival 2022. On behalf of the organizer of this event, I would like to welcome all of you to this seminar. Thank you for taking your time for being here with us today. And the Southeast Asia Sustainability Festival 2022 is a month program to share good practice and a platform of action to achieve sustainable development goals based on evidence-based and good governance of multiple regional actors. And this event is supported by YSEALI, Cultural Vistas, and the U.S. Embassy Philippines. And today is the closing of a series of activities that began on 12 November 2022. The topic of our session today is a partnership for the goals. And I think that SDGs can only be realized with strong global partnership and cooperation. The partnership for the goals refers to the need for cross sectors and cross-country collaboration in pursuit of all the goals. Furthermore, it is a call for countries to align policies. Moreover, the partnership for the goals is a vision for improved and more equitable trade, as well as coordinated investment initiative to promote sustainable development across borders. It is about strengthening and streamlining cooperation between nation states, both developed and developing, using the SDGs as a shared framework and shared vision for defining that collaborative way forward. I would like to thank the participants who are present today. It's great to see so many of you here, and I hope you guys enjoy this session. So our season today, we have previously, I apologize because our moderator, Abe, who will be the moderator today, was unable to attend because there was a delay in the flight schedule. So she is currently still on the flight. Therefore, I will replace her to be a moderator. So guys, this presentation session will be divided into two speakers, where each speaker will be given 15 minutes for presentation and 15 minutes for question and answer season. So our first speaker is Dessy Pramita. She is a member and communication officer at the Global Organization of Parliamentarians Against Corruption, based in Doha, Qatar, and a consultant of the Collective Action Coalition Against Corruption Initiative Program. Previously, she worked as a parliamentary specialist on the Indonesian House of Representative Consultative Committee. She has also worked at the Center for International and Private Enterprise as an anti-corruption consultant. She has completed Transparency International School on Integrity in 2020, organized by Transparency International Lithuania and Michaelis Remoris University Law School. And she received a BA in Political Science from the University of Indonesia and a master's degree from Georgetown University in Democracy and Governance. So, guys, please welcome Dessy Pramita. Dessy Pramita. Dessy, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Gifo, for the wonderful introduction. And can you hear me all?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank you for this wonderful opportunity to become a speaker here. I don't know if I deserve it, but it is great to meet you all. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm sure this participant here from across the world, right? Like I thought it's going to be only Southeast Asia, but it's not. So I really hope that we can learn together here. So maybe I will just give a short presentation about what I've been doing for the goal 17 of the SDGs, and maybe at the question and answer, you guys also can share what you do in your community or what you work, so that we can know all of the wonderful SDGs initiative in all over the world. Okay, let me share my presentation first. Okay, can you see my presentation? Can you give me sign okay if you can see it? Givo, can you give me sign? Can you see the presentation?
Oh, yes, I can see it.
Okay, good. Okay, so a little background of my organization. I work for the Global Organization of Parliamentarians Against Corruption, like what Givo said, what it is. This is an international network of parliamentarians that focus solely on dedicating on combating corruption. So we aim to combat and prevent corruption by strengthening the integrity of parliaments. Our members are the current or former member of parliaments or legislators who have been denied the rights to take office. So what we've been doing is supporting parliamentarians in their advocacy and legislation through various programs. We also provide peer-to-peer support to our members by developing practical tools, delivering relevant training, capacity building, and education to promote methods for fighting corruption and sustainable development, of course. Our network is quite huge. As up until now, we have 64 national chapters across the globe, and we have 5 established regional chapters in Southeast Asia region, Africa region, Arab region, Latin America region, and Oceania region. And now we are developing 2 other regional chapters in Caribbean region and South Asia region. Okay. That's a background about where I work, because I'm sure not many people knows. So this is the overview of our presentation today. So by starting a bit of the definition of the SDGs 13 that maybe you all know, and then the implementation strategy and the best practices that I already do, and what I can learn from those initiative, and also like a conclusion. So as you see, the slogan of the goal 17 is to strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. So basically the aim of this goal, as Givo mentioned earlier, is so that we can realize that we can only achieve all of the SDGs goals and its target by cooperating and partnering with each other in the local, national, and international level, of course. So because to build a better world, we need to be supportive, we need to be inventive, passionate, and above all, cooperative with each other. Collaborative action and partnership are the key. And the sustainable development goals can only be successful if it is engaging all of the stakeholders, such as government, parliamentarians, judiciary, business, NGO, academics, women, youth, and many others. Business, yeah. Partnership also must be built upon a shared principle, values, and vision, placing the welfare of the people and sustainability of the planet in the center. As my background and like my experience, what I'm doing, as you can see in the screen, there are a lot of targets. I think it's about 19. So I could not cover all of the target here because I'm not expert in all of them, especially in the economics. So what I've done is actually only in target 17 and target 16 and 17. So in today's presentation, I will only focus on those 2 targets. So in the question and answer later, if you are your initiative in other target, you can just raise your hand and like share to us in which target your initiative in what you achieved so far. Okay, so this is the implementation strategies that I think of. As you can see, we don't have that much time left for the goal is 2030. So it's about 8 years. So, but right now the goals is quite far from what we achieved so far. And then, as you must know, SDGs is SDGs is everywhere, right? So because the resource to deliver SDGs is huge. The governments, international donors, international intergovernmental organization, they have such a huge resource and huge money delivering here and there to make the SDGs successful. I'm sure that every country must have their own initiative, program, activities that covers the goal SDGs. However, sometimes they don't even realize that what they're doing is a part of the SDGs initiative, and there's no coordination between each ministries or sectors. So it is quite difficult for us to measure the success of the SDGs targets. So that's why in here, some of the strategies that I think is important, and I think it's quite general that we all can do, is this four. The first one is to raise awareness and educating people, spreading and campaigning SDGs in our communities. There's Indonesian famous proverb where I come from is from Indonesia. Jika tak kenal maka tak sayang. If you don't know, how can you love them, right? So the first step is, of course, to advocate the importance of effective partnership to achieve the SDGs. It also can be reached out through creating communities and develop partnership in with your colleagues, school communities, hobby communities, etc. And the second is by creating policy framework. This step only can be done by the policymakers. And we in my organization on GOPAC is advocating through this line of work. So government and related stakeholders must create regulation to ensure the implementation of the SDGs on their country or participating in the international cooperation and agreement to support the goal of SDGs, such as the UN, because our organization is also part of the UN COSOC. So we every year we also get involved in the Sustainable Development Goals conversation in the UN. The third one is developing SDGs programs and activities. I'm sure that there are plenty of SDGs program activities in our country. Every ministry and local government, NGOs, academic must have one or several programs regarding SDGs. However, it is quite a pity, or I don't know, maybe there are already some initiatives that I don't know of, an effort to collecting all of those programs, an effort that bridging all of those programs, so we know, or a platform collecting all of those programs, so we know like what are the initiative of the SDGs actually. And the last one is monitoring and evaluation. Of course, we have to evaluate the progress, the program periodically, and creating a forum where all the SDGs activists can meet and share the project and plans, and which programs are failing and why is it fail, how can we recover that programs to make a better program so we can achieve the goals of the SDGs quicker, because it's 8 years. It's gone by so fast, right? So these are some the best practices, which is the programs that I actually do. It's my work. So I work in politics and advocacy in GOPAC. Therefore, the SDGs I emphasize is enhancing the global partnership for sustainable development and encouraging of effective partnership to address problems. For me particularly, I will also work with the goal 16 as I deal with the issue of corruption, good governance, strong institution, etc. So as I mentioned earlier, our network is a Parliamentarians network that dedicated to combat corruption and uphold the good governance. We focus on strengthening the roles of parliaments and overseeing programs related to SDGs. Or if SDGs need the help of donor, Parliament must oversee those funding so that the money go to the post where should it go, because sometimes in development countries, they receive a lot of funding from international donors, like the government receives the funding, and how the government implementing those funding to SDGs programs, we need to oversee those, because we don't want them to be gone, like the fund being gone to enrich themselves, right? So that's what we advocate. That's why we're creating this handbook, Parliamentarians' role in implementing the Sustainable Development Goals, because I know that not a lot of parliaments know what SDGs is, because sometimes they just focus on the welfare issues, on like electoral issues. They don't even realize what is SDGs, right? So this book is serve as a guidance for parliamentarians on what is SDGs, why they should care, and what are the role that they can play to make the implementation of SDGs successful. It serves as a knowledge books for the parliaments, that's so that how can they integrate it into government programs, the SDGs into their SDGs program in the parliament and the government program, as there are diverse parliament who have different knowledge on the issues, from highly developed parliamentarians until the least developed countries parliamentarians who perhaps does not prioritize SDGs, right? So, and then this book is also, we try to find several best practices of several parliamentarians, what they do on the context of implementing SDGs. And this handbook, it's quite successful because it's being translated in several languages, including Indonesia, Thailand, Laos, Russia, Arabic, and many others. And this handbook is also an example how effective partnership, a global partnership, can produce something useful as we collaborate with the Islamic Development Banks and the UNDP. Second program that I do, as Gifo also mentioned earlier in my introduction, is the Collective Action Coalition Against Corruption that has been successful in Thailand. Now I replicate those in the Indonesian context. This Collective Action Coalition serves as a business platform together share best practices, concern, and solution, and to mitigate corruption risk in the business industry. This collective action coalition also show how powerful, effective partnership can be in addressing one of the SDGs problem, corruption. Lesson learned. So what can I learn from this to work, that I do realize that it is impossible to work alone. Collective action is the key to success, and raising awareness also must be in the top of the priority, because not many people will join you if they're not aware what is the cause that you're fighting for, right? So we have to advocate our cause so that it can be heard by as many as possible, so that they can join us. And we need to engage in many stakeholders as you can, because it will be benefit to achieve the SDGs goal even faster. Then what can this is the conclusion. What can we do? What can I do? What can you do? I strongly recommend, if you have interest in this development industry and in these sustainable development goals topics, start your work early, engage in international conversation, know your expertise, and how can you contribute. By creating small communities first within your peers, within your colleague, in university maybe, or even in your village, your town, on whatever issue that you want to advocate. And also monitor the implementation of SDGs in your respective country. You have to gain knowledge as much as possible, and also build your expertise. Thus, it will create the path for your contribution to the implementation of the SDGs itself. Do some tangible works in terms of SDGs, raise awareness and monitor the implementation. For any other idea, let's discuss. If you have interesting initiative that you already do within your communities, within your works, you can share with us in this question and answer session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dessy, for the presentation. It's very interesting and open up new knowledge for us. Next, guys, I will open a question and answer season. For the first time, I will give an opportunity for two questioner, and then the speaker will answer it. So please, for those who have a question, to raise your hand. Okay, Givan Anhar. So, okay, please welcome Givan. Unmute. You can unmute your.
Okay, thank you. Okay, my question, which is the most good thing between we make a small communities or we uh, enter and grow up the communities that has been founded? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Givan. The next questioner, please raise your hand. From Malawi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. I wanted to ask, do they work with any country, or do they have specific countries that they work with? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I think that Dessy, you can answer for two questions.
Okay. Okay, so I will try to answer my best. Forgive us, we create small communities or already join the communities that already there and grow that communities, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's up to you. I mean, like, what are your costs? I mean, like, if you believe in something and it's already out there, for example, you want to become you work on like a sustainable ocean or something, and you already know that there's a community involving in that, you can join them. But if not, there's if it's in this initiative is only you that can that the expertise is you, and like you can build those, and then you can try to find a donor, maybe by the from the embassy or from the others donors. That is, I think it's quite a lot available in terms of SDGs. So it depends on what you want to do, depend on the topics. Has it already been up there in your own communities? If you see or hear that, for example, Indonesia, there's CISD, which is an NGO in sustainable development, but they are focusing on the health. If you are caring about the health, SDGs health, there's already CISD in Indonesia, and then you can join them, right? But if there's no, you can start your own community and like make a proposal for donors. I think that's, and the second question is, are you work with any countries or specific countries? We work with a lot of countries. We have around more than 1,000 member of parliaments and former member of parliamentarians around the world. But we have 64 national chapters now. The list is go on for Albania, Algeria, Argentina, Australia, Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Bangladesh, blah, blah, blah. We have Ghana, we have Kenya, we have Indonesia, of course, Malaysia. The list goes on because it's 64 national chapters. Yeah, so basically we work with any country, specifically parliaments. We particularly works for parliamentarians or a member of parliaments. I hope that it's answer your question. But if you want to work there, you can work with anyone, not specifically parliamentarians, because I also work with the business community as well. So you can do both, or 3 or 4 or 5, depending on what you're passionate about.
So the next question you can answer, Dessy, from Justice Chiponda.
Yeah, that's work with any countries or specific countries, right?
Yeah.
From Malawi. Yeah, I already answered those. Like for GOPAC, we work with any countries, but we have 64 national chapters. The list goes on because it's 64 countries and more. But basically, we work all with parliaments and parliamentarians. And even in one country, they have 2 parliaments. Sometimes in Indonesia, we have the House and the Senate. In the US, they have House and Senate. In the UK, they have House of Lords and House of Commons. So yeah. But that's what we work with.
Okay, I will open for 2 questions again. And
yeah,
first is from Ghana, Gladys Sofa. The time is yours to give a question. Gladys. Or from Nigeria, Christopher Isu. Hello, Christopher.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Greetings, everyone. Quickly, I want to ask if there is a way we could get the Parliamentarian handbook, so probably we can go through it and get more knowledge and know how to engage further in creating awareness. Thank you.
Okay, that's an excellent. It's already up there in the link. I will share the link in the chat book.
Okay. The next question, Lamin Singatek. Yes, Lamin.
Yes, there was something that she was saying regarding to the SDG in the parliament, that there are some parliaments that don't know about the SDG. So which I want for her to make clear.
Sorry, can you repeat the last part?
What I am saying is there is an area during when you were talking about the SDG in the parliament, you said there are some parliamentarians that don't know about SDG. So I want you to make that clear, please.
Make the what?
You said there are some parliamentarians that don't know about the SDG.
Yes, of course, yeah. Yes, yeah.
Yes, I want you to make it clear. How do you mean? Because I think SDG is a worldwide thing. Everyone, like especially those in the parliament, should have a clue, should have an idea about it. So when you say they don't know about it, what do you like? What do you want to say?
Yes, okay. So to make it my statement clear, it's like, of course, Sustainable Development Goals is quite famous, but not all of them grasp what is SDGs about. Okay, so they know SDGs, but they don't know what SDGs is about, right? So like because it's not that expertise, because SDGs is sometimes in the specific committee, in this specific committee, like international committee or something, like they hear a lot about SDGs because they go to international forum and stuff, and they've been hearing the SDGs a lot. But if they are focused in the local context and like in the economics and some things, sometimes they don't even know what is SDGs. Of course, they know the term of SDGs, maybe, but not all of them quite grasping what are the goals of SDGs, what they should accomplish by 2030. And then these goals, how can they implement it to the programs? Because they are policymakers, right? What are the regulations that they should create so that they can support the SDGs implementation in their country? So that's the thing.
If I understand, if I understand, you're talking like their goal plan is not like in match with the SDGs strategies.
Correct. So they know SDGs, but do they do something about SDGs? That's one question.
Okay.
The second, right? So the second is like, do they create necessary legislation so that those SDGs goals can be achieved by the respective countries, right?
Okay.
So because sometimes they are prioritized in other issues rather than SDGs. That's what my statement is. But thank you for the wonderful questions.
Yeah. Thank you. I just want that to be clear, so I understand it. Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay, sorry. So the next question from Pakistan, there is Chani. So you can ask the speaker, please, Chani.
Hello, Dessy. It was nice hearing you. I have a question regarding one thing, that whenever you go to Parliament, whenever you go to Senate or something, you have your own proposal with you. You gave them. So how we are going to how are you going to convince them to when you go somebody, is it difficult to convince somebody to get the get your things done, because sometimes they don't understand what are you planning with them. Because when in my community, it's not for government, I create awareness about child abuse in the schools, and schools, especially about on the primary level. But whenever I get told them about these things, there is obviously delay. Like they do not understand the thing very much. It's about a partnership. Now, like if you give us time, we will delay the message to the students. But really, what the thing is happens that we got rejected many times. Recently, I got rejected from school, 3 of the schools, like on consecutively, because they don't understand the purpose of it. So how can you convince somebody to understand what are you trying to do is good as beneficial for the society?
Okay, so thank you for a wonderful question, Chatni, and I understand your frustration because sometimes it also happened to me too. So I think that it is a global problem, right? So, but the things like that I learned, the way how interact with the parliaments is like, this is the beauty of advocacy and like the beauty of politics, if you can say, right? So you have to know who you want to speak for. So if you are child abuse, then you have to go to the committee, like the parliaments or like the government who handles the child abuse. I don't know, maybe it's under the child protection, some countries in the women and child human rights, some countries maybe in under the health ministry. So it depends on the each between countries, different countries. So you should target the right person. By targeting the right person, it will make your campaign, it will make your proposal, make it much easier. So because sometimes maybe they are not the one that is in power, but they can help you because they are have more power than you. So they can help you to endorse this to someone who actually has the power. And this one who actually have the power, because you already get endorsed by someone that he or she can trust, yeah, then it can pass. So that's sometimes we just go out there and like go advocacy and campaigning to everyone, but you have to know your audience, you have to know your target, and you have to make alteration for your target. If you're targeting youth, then your campaign's language is going to be different than if you're targeting the lawmakers, for example. Yeah, I think that's one of my advice to you, but keep fighting, never give up. That's the key. Persistence is the key.
Okay, thank you, Dessy. The next question, Thomas, Mas Matia. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. If I can remember, from the presentation, our speaker, Madam, before I proceed with my question, I may want to say a special thanks to you for your wonderful presentation as one of our prestigious speaker for this wonderful forum or for this wonderful occasion today. I'm very much happy as a protective Sierra Leonean for being part of this podium today, the award-winning ceremony. The question I have here is, I want to know how best we can get the targeted audience for the sustainable development goals to diversity all over the country or across the world, more in the Africa country we are living, because we are talking of Africa, for example, the SDG, and talking of the SRHR, we are talking of the sexual reproductive health and rights. How best we can get audience to this SDG and that of the sexual gender-based violence in the country or community? This is my question. I want to know, and I want clear answer to that one, which can help me to facilitating information to other people who are absent from this meeting. Thank you very much.
Okay, wow, that's a tough question to answer because it's not my specialty, the health and like, but the one that I know is how the best is SDGs is a global campaign, right? It's from the UN. The best way to implement it is to localize, to make the international goals to localize it, to nationalize it and localize it. It depends on each country. That's why, for example, in my experience, UNCAC, UN Coalition Against Corruption, they have some provision. Each countries need to localize the provision, that those international standard, they need to nationalize it based on your country's laws. Because sometimes what international is, sometimes it's quite different what African countries laws are, or Southeast Asia are, because sometimes this international mechanism is, they look up to the West, right? They look up to the developed country. So sometimes we need to fit it into our own local context. First, you need to national and localize it. And the second, you have to know whether in your communities already have those SDGs programs. If in your own country already have those program, you can just join them. So so you can just join them, and then give if you have advocacy a different issue that they haven't addressed it, but they should. You just go to the organization with your pitch, with your proposal, with your campaign. Hey, you're doing great, but you need to do more. This is what I propose. That's what can you do, right? Because sometimes you don't have access to there, and they're like, you're not going to just, hello, I'm here, not that, right? So you have to give them something, right? So you can just say that, okay, all of what you're doing is great, but hey, this issue is quite important, but you haven't addressed it. I know how to do it. This is my plan. Can we collaborate together? As easy as is that. And if they are really doing the SDGs 2030, they will be happy to collaborate with you, right?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. As one of the human rights defenders in Sierra Leone, I, Thomas Matia, talking to you, Conley. I'm one of the human rights defenders currently stay in the southern part of the country, Moyamba District, Sierra Leone. On all the highlighted points you talked about, we are doing it. I just want you to give me some ideas of how best you can guide me to add value in my field work in terms of humanity and cohesion in terms of the living sustainable development as we're talking of. I am very much happy for the answers you've given me. That's very brilliant and grateful. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you, Thomas. Keep the good fight.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. Next question, Muniru from Ghana.
Okay, do we still have time? I think we should also watch the time.
Okay, Muniru.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity to ask a question. That has been a great session. So my question goes, in our part of the world, especially when you are building your advocacy message and then you are sending it to your targeted audience, sometimes or most often than not, we can't do it alone. So you need stakeholder engagement. So after engaging the stakeholders, it is mostly, helping directing assurance At the end of the day, you go in there, let's take it that it is 15th. You go in there 15th. How do you find your way in such situations? Thank you.
You're a bit like I could not hear you, but what is the question? Because I hear you clearly at the end, but like in the middle, I lost you quite some. Do you get it, Gifo?
Sorry, I can't hear it clearly.
Yeah, like we miss you in the middle part. The end part we know, but like in the middle part, can you repeat it again, Muniru? You're still on mute.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so I was talking about stakeholder engagement. In as much as we know we cannot do it alone, we need to partner with stakeholders, especially when we are out for our advocacy issue. For instance, in Ghana, if you are going on education, there are a lot of formalities that you need to follow. You cannot go to the schools without going to GES or without writing to our educational service. So they are the stakeholders, or they are the major stakeholders. So after writing to them, they will give you the assurance that on the 15th, you get there on the 15th only to have met disappointment. How do you find your way out? And here lies the case. They are the first point of contact you have to meet before you be able to implement such a project. I've had countless of these issues, especially when I was running projects on mental health, education, and also on climate change. So these are some of the major problems that you have as youth. So how do you find your way out in such situations?
Okay, thank you for such a great question, and it's also quite difficult to answer, because I'm sure I don't know if this happened in Ghana as well, but what I do is like the beauty of social media. Maybe you can start your education by social media, creating your mass and communities by social media, by gathering in the parks or in the cafe that is like free of charge to talk about it. And then if you gain more mass, and then you go to the government, you will be heard, because like sometimes the government need the pressure for that many people to move. For Indonesia, if you want to be heard, then you need to do demonstration, right? So in each country is different. So if you're I understand that in some government they are quite slow. The thing that you can do, if you need funds for your initiative, go to the embassies or international organization in your country that also has a specific concern on the same issues that you do. I think for the health, a lot of the US NGOs, German like GIZ, US is like USAID, and others organization are very involved in that particular issue. So yeah, pitch your proposal to those international donors if your government is not hurt you. So there's many stakeholders that you can contact with. That's my answer. Thank you.
Okay. Dessy, the last question. I think I will take from the chat box from the Elisaveta from Haiti. The question is, what help can you provide to a leader who wants to face the corruption of his country? So this is the last question for season 1.
A tough one. Because fighting corruption, you cannot do it alone. And sometimes if you do it alone, sometimes you get eliminated easily by all of those powerful corrupt people. But I think persistence and integrity are like the key. Like you have to keep your integrity, although there's a lot of problems, a lot of black campaign against you, but you have to keep your integrity, keep your persistence, and do what you do best. For example, if you like to write, do weekly write columns in the newspaper or like in the tabloids. If your national countries block you, go to the international one, like Washington Post or like the UK Post. Do some writing if you like to write. But if you like social media, you can do like infographics, posters, post it in the social media. So there's a lot of way for you to fight corruption. It just depends on what you do best. For me, I love advocacy, so that's what I do. Like I advocate to a lot of stakeholders. I work with the parliament as well. I work with the governments as well. I work with the governmental organization and also the business and the NGOs. That's what I do. I like to advocate. So what I do is basically creating some workshop, raising education, and then like if there's like international day, like this week, 9 December, we have International Anti-Corruption Day. Give a statement, and then give us a campaign like, okay, I support anti-corruption, or like I'm an anti-corruption activist, and like by saying that out loud, then you will be noticed by the other anti-corruption activists that they have out there. So 10 is better than 1, I think. So yeah, I think that's what I can answer, because it's quite difficult to answer. There's no right questions.
Yeah. Okay.
Right
thank you.
answer, sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, Dessy. Because of the time, so we need to over this session, guys. So I think Dessy, you can give a closing statement, the participant.
All right. Yeah, I would like to thank you all for being so engaged in this presentation. I don't know whether, I hope that my presentation are being helped for some of you. And then I really would like to thanks for all of you that shared a lot of things to me. I learned a lot too, that there's a lot of sustainable development goals activists out there. Right, but there's I think by being here, by speak to this event, I'm so happy that I can become one of you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dessy, for sharing today, and hopefully this can provide a lot of knowledge for us. And I think that we need to give applause for Dessy. Thank you very much. So guys, we will go to the next season for this next speaker. So the next speaker, the second speaker is Elisaveta Petrova. She's a communicative and versatile person who loves being in international environments. Now she works as a chief expert at the project management, international affairs, and protocol directorate at the National Revenue Agency of the Republic of Bulgaria. Furthermore, she has obtained 2 master's degrees in law obtained in France and Bulgaria. And recently, she successfully defended a thesis on the following subject: property confiscation procedure in Bulgarian law, a poor application of European tax, at the University of Strasbourg in France. So, Elisa, please welcome. The time is yours.
Thank you so much, Givu, for this introduction. I'm very honored and grateful for being here, for taking part in today's session. First of all, I would like to say that the subject of sustainable development goals is very important for me. That's why I'm ready to do whatever it takes to give my contribution in favor of our planet, Earth. In this sense, I would like to talk to you about Partnership for the Goals. But before starting, I would like just present my work place, because I know that the National Revenue Agency is not very popular around the world. So the National Revenue Agency is a specialized state institution in Bulgaria under the jurisdiction of the Minister of Finance. And the main task of our work is to administer taxes and social security contributions, as well as to collect other public and private state receivables. That's it. So we can start with our topic. First of all, it's very important for the partnership for the goals to strengthen. What is exactly what does it mean? It means that it's necessary to strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. And the real definition is partnerships. It means that partnerships between governments and private and public bodies bring our goals closer to achievement. So we can understand that when we work together towards the same goals, we have the power to achieve them all. And the fact that sharing goals, it only means that it means sharing a vision. So our vision is ending poverty, battling inequality, and paralyzing global warming. That's all our ambitions we'll strive for. It is all about making partnerships built upon collaboration. When companies, countries, governments, and people unite and take action, great goals can be achieved. I would like to continue with the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development. The goal highlights the importance of global macroeconomic stability and the need to mobilize financial resources for developing countries from international sources, as well as through strengthened domestic capacity for revenue collection. It also highlights the importance of trade for developing countries and equitable rules for governing international trade. Furthermore, it emphasizes the importance of access to science, technology, and innovation, in particular, internet-based information and communications technology. Successful implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals depends on a comprehensive funding framework that goes beyond official development assistance commitments. Alongside public and private funding, the political sphere will also be expected to make a greater contribution to achieving the goals in question. So we need to strengthen domestic resource mobilization, including through international support to developing countries to improve domestic capacity for tax and other revenue collection. And developed countries need to implement fully their official development assistance commitments, including the commitment by many developed, mobilize additional financial resources for developing countries from multiple sources, assist developing countries in attaining long-term debt sustainability through coordinated policies aimed at fostering debt financing, debt relief, and debt restructuring as appropriate, and address the external debt of highly indebted poor countries to reduce debt distress. So we need to adopt and implement invest promotion regimes for least developed countries. Many governments and United Nations entities, international and regional organizations have gained in-depth knowledge and expertise and taken innovative steps toward implementing this ambitious global framework. Many inspiring breakthroughs and success stories are showing results and impacts all over the world, and several good practices can be replicated and scaled up to address existing gaps and constraints. So I would like to start with the Bulgarian experience in this field. Here we have the Bulgarian Global Compact Network. This Global Compact is a platform uniting the private sector to promote corporate social responsibility and transforming globalization into a positive force. So by participating in this project, the Bulgarian network has helped the Macedonian network to effectively integrate sustainable development goals. What we do, we mobilize resources to improve domestic revenue collection. We implement all development assistance commitments. We assist developing countries in attaining debt sustainability. We invest in the least developed countries. We promote sustainable technologies to develop countries. We remove trade barriers for least developed countries. And what can be adopted in South East Asia and other regions around the world? Is it possible to work or volunteer in NGOs that are working towards global goals? If we want to get involved in this, we can support exported goods by buying fair trade products from developing countries, and we can stay informed. Follow the local news and stay in touch with on social media with the latest news. That's why I think young people from all over the world should be activated to contribute towards the achievement of sustainable development. And I would like to finish with a quote of Richard Rogers, which is a British architect. He says that the only way forward, if we are going to improve the quality of the environment, is to get everybody involved. So I would like to take your questions if you have some now.
Okay, thank you so much, Elisa, for the presentation. It's very interesting. So for participants, I will open a question. For the first time, I will give an opportunity for 2 questioners, and then the speaker will answer it. So guys, you can raise your hand if you have a question. Or study, okay.
Okay, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. I want to know is presentation in developed country. So what I want to know, in which sector do you invest mostly? Because most of least developing, like those in Africa, depending on agriculture. So in which sector do you mostly invest in order to attain SDGs? Thank you.
Sorry, could you please summarize your question and put it in the chat box, because I couldn't hear it from the beginning very well.
Okay.
Thank you.
I wanted to know, in which sector do you mostly invest? Maybe agriculture, industry, in order to attain sustainable development goals.
Sorry?
Study, I think you can make your question in the chat.
Okay.
Because we cannot hear you clearly, sorry.
Because from what I heard, we have a Bulgarian stock exchange, which has the mission to promote responsible investment in sustainable development. But I don't know if it answers to your question. I think it would be better to put the question in the chat box, please. I see the question in the chat box. It's this one. Could you please make it clear for me? I missed out on the part of how to strengthen the means of implementation to revitalize the Global Partnership Sustainable Development. I think the best way to strengthen the means of implementation concerning the Global Partnership Sustainable Development is, as I said, to be able to taking part in some NGO activities, or it's also possible to follow some international organizations on social media, or as my colleague said, we can also write some articles about the sustainable development goals in newspapers around the world. If it's not possible on national level, we can write some. We can try to write some articles about US wallpapers or something else. It depends on the topic we have in mind.
Okay, we have a questioner from Thomas Matia, because
yes.
he's right here.
Yes, please, okay. Thomas.
Please, Thomas.
Well, thank you very much, our co-presenter, the second presenter for this program today. I appreciate you so much for your question, your presentation. This is a wonderful presentation you've done. I'm very much happy about your presentation you did. The information is key, and even though the benchmark, the step you use in doing your presentation is very key and plainful. I get a clear understanding about your presentation you've done. But I just have one or two questions here to ask, and I need some clear information about the question I'm trying to ask about. And this is a question: which channel can we use to achieve the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals in Africa? That is the question I have. The first question. Number two question here is, how can we reach the poor in the poor rural communities to disseminate the Sustainable Development Goals or the SDG in Africa, more the poor rural communities? There are some parliaments in countries, in some African countries, they don't even communicate a bit or badly about the SDG to people. This question I want you to address and get clear understanding about it. Thank you very much.
Unmute, Elisa. Sorry, Elisa.
Thank you very much, Thomas, for this wonderful question. It is out of my field, but to my mind, there is the Africa's Sustainability Matters platform, if I'm not mistaken. It's a platform for all which matters concerning the sustainability. So you can, if you'd like, you can consult this Africa Sustainability Matters platform online. But I'm not quite sure. Maybe you're aware of this platform now. I don't know if you have the knowledge of this existing platform. Do you? Sorry, I cannot hear you.
I said, hello.
Yes.
Yeah, our speaker. The comment I want to give, or I just have a comment which I want to lament on, something I want to lament on. Please, I want such program like this be inclusive, because in Sierra Leone here we have what we call the radical inclusion in Sierra Leone. Currently, we have the radical inclusion in our country, where we persons with disability, all categories. Such innovation meeting like this, let this be inclusive. Wherein, for example, as for me, I'm a human rights activist, also equally working for persons living with disability in Sierra Leone, and we are there to defend their rights, help them in all kinds of ways to protect their potentials, and we are doing that in Sierra Leone. So I want this one to be inclusive. If not this now, but the next program, let it be inclusive. Let there be the inclusive and all persons to come on board. Thank you very much. I want you to give me some corrective response on that one.
Thank you, Thomas. When you asked me about what is the channel for achieving all these goals, maybe you can also have a look and consult the African Venture Philanthropy Alliance. I think they have a website, and I think it's the best channel, sustainable channel, which permits financing. Please tell me if you need some more clarifications. If you would like, I may give you my email address and respond to you later by email. Givu, is it possible?
Sure, you can do it.
Great. So please, I will put my email in the chat box. You can write me whenever you like. Please tell me if there are another questions from the audience. If there is another question from the audience, please tell me.
Sorry, so the next question, I think that from Nigeria, Asian. You can give a question, Asian, please.
Okay, hi. Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, good morning, good day, everyone. I don't know if you can all hear me. Hello? Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you very much to the first and second speaker. Like I said in my feedback form, this program has really been eye-opening. Yeah, that's what I called it. Eye-opening, educative, and really, really inclusive. This is actually my first international voluntary program to be a part of. So I'm really, really thankful and grateful for the inclusiveness. That's kudos to everyone that organized this. So currently in Nigeria, I'm a co-founder of ASMOVE, is an SDG initiative focused towards SDG 13 and SDG 14. So I'm more focused because I live in Lagos, Nigeria. So we are more focused towards the waste management because here is one of the major problems we are facing. So the problem, I'm trying to use my country as an example because it's my reality. I don't know if everyone is getting me on that. Yeah, waste management, yes, especially in Lagos. So the problem we usually have is implementation of policies. There are usually a lot of policies, like the first speaker mentioned, adding these government organizations. There are usually a lot of policies on ground, but implementation of the policies. So my question is that the second speaker named an organization online that we can actually like join. So I don't know if there are ways we can be able to like, because we've been trying on our own part, organizing cleanup, making communities understand the dangers of these waste they are mismanaging and how they have been like polluting the water body and everything. But the problem is how to make them understand, like the government to be able to like help implement these policies. So I don't know if we'll be writing petitions and all of that, but I don't know if they're like organization, you know, that we can also join to be able to like empower us, because that's what I love about this program. They didn't just like, you don't just come and be part of them, but you have to actually do the work by posting those videos online, whereby you get to reach a lot of audience. That's a really good one. So I don't know if there are like other organizations like this, I don't know, that we can actually like add. And also how like the first speaker was sharing how she was able to like add the parliamentary harm, and the other speaker also talked about going globally. So how we can on our own part be able to like do this thing, like how they were able to do it on their own hand, how we can also do that, like so that we won't just like be fighting this fight on our own, no, but we'll be able to like join hands with other people by connecting with other people. So if there are other like organizations like this online that we can also like be part of. So that's my question. And kudos really to the first and second speaker, and kudos to the organizer of this program. Really, really eye-opening. Thank you very much.
Givo, I think we need to start first of all with small steps. So I think we can try to recycle our garbage, and we can also try to buy fair trade products in everyday life. And maybe through these small steps, if we can also get involved by, as I said, writing some articles on a subject which is very important for us. But we can also follow some international organizations online. We can do some publications. We can post some posters about sustainability goals, sustainable development goals. So there are plenty of stuff to do. But I think the most important ones are our small steps in everyday lives, in our daily life. Like as I try here in Bulgaria to do these small steps daily, and I think it's very important to start from these small steps as a beginning. Thank you.
Thank you, Asian, Elisa. And guys, sorry because of the time, so we need to over this session. And I would like to thank you all for the question. And I hope this can provide a lot of new knowledge for us. And I think that Elisa, please, you can give a closing statement to the participants. Thank you.
I'm very happy to see so many activists there around the world. I just wanted to tell you that we need to continue. You need to continue your fight, and you need to do whatever you can and hope for the best. That's my advice for you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Lisa, and thank you very much for today's presentation sessions. Hopefully, it's useful for us, guys. And so I, as a moderator today, say thank you for you all, and I hand over it to the host, Miftah. Thank you very much, guys.